Welcome back to our Teaching and Learning English podcast.
Yes, welcome. What are we talking about this week, Gav?
I kick us off with a question about homework.
I raised the topic of holidays.
And we talk about the feeling you have when you get back to teaching after a break.
You asked me how long my teaching materials could last if the world was ending.
You questioned me on how to set up an online meeting.
We discuss what to do when students just don't get it.
And you finished the show with a cake metaphor.
Delicious.
Now get comfy and enjoy the new episode of Gav and Em's How to English TEFL Pod.
Welcome everybody, this is How to English, Teach and Learn with Gav and Em.
It's a podcast about teaching and learning English as a foreign language.
All opinions stated are personal and references will be given when necessary.
And we're back again with Gav and Em's How to English TEFL Pod. And would you believe it, it's episode 10 of season 7.
I don't believe it. That's amazing. Well done us for getting this far.
Em, are you saying you don't believe me? I am a TEFL teacher. You can trust everything that I say.
I actually do believe you. I'm thinking, wow, that's a lot of episodes.
It is a lot of episodes. I hope the followers are still with us and enjoying all of our interesting topics that we've introduced and discussed along the way.
You mean all these TEFL topics about teaching and learning English as a foreign language, students, teachers alike? I hope you are finding some teaching tips, strategies, anecdotes, common thoughts, ideas, just what life's like, Gav, as a TEFL teacher.
Em, are you talking to me or are you engaging the follower?
I'm not talking to you, Gav. I'm talking to our followers out there.
Well, that's great then.
Are you ready to start?
I am ready to start. I have a topic for us. Would you like me to tell you what I've been thinking about recently?
Please, yes, I would.
My first topic, Em, is I've been asking myself, Em, what is a good homework task? Both our teacher and student followers will be very curious to know your answer.
Well, it is a good question. Because some may say a good homework task is something you wouldn't do in the lesson. So it could be a grammar exercise or a long reading article.
Em, are you implying that you don't do long reading articles or grammar exercises in your classes and therefore it would be best to be done by the student alone later?
I was going to correct myself with what is a long reading article. I think it's just a long article to read. No, I would not ordinarily do that in a lesson. So that
when you say I would not do that, what do you mean I would not do that? Could you clarify, please?
I wouldn't give that to my students and ask them to read it quietly to themselves. Or if it was a grammar exercise, it might be a bit dry, a bit boring. I might try and present the language in a more conversational way and then give the grammar task as a homework task or the long article to read as homework. But Gav, maybe that isn't a good homework task because if you
can I interrupt you?
You are just constantly interrupting. So yes, I guess you can.
Why would that not be a good homework task?
I'm just going to tell you that because I think it's a boring exercise sometimes to do. But then why would you give it as homework?
My mind is spinning round in circles. It's a good homework task. It's not a good homework task. It should be boring. It shouldn't be dry. Where are we?
Yeah, I'm confused too. I think if it's an article that a student would be interested in, relevant to their job, relevant to their life, then it isn't a boring thing.
Relevant to the lesson?
Yes, then it isn't a boring thing, is it? And that would be good to give as a homework task, and then maybe you could discuss it in the next lesson. But if you're not prepared to do it in the lesson, then maybe you shouldn't be giving it as homework.
And when you say to do it in the lesson, do you mean to read the article in the lesson?
Yeah.
Now that does rely on every student who attends the class to read that article before having the lesson with you the following week and remembering the topic clearly.
Also true. So this is a can of worms. Now I'm starting talking about it. It's a really complicated question. Can we just get away from an article? Because that isn't the only homework task. I think, okay, a good homework task would be watch a video, listen to something, provide answers with a worksheet so that students can check it themselves
This sounds a bit like the kind of task you might do in the classroom as well, but you've given the students the answers for them to check on their own.
I think any task is a good homework task, really. If we're being honest, you could do anything for homework.
Or the students could.
Yeah, the students could do anything for homework. You could give anything for homework. I think the point is it has to be fun, interesting, relevant.
But you said it should be dry and boring.
No, I didn't. I said that could be the reason you don't do it in the lesson.
Then maybe you shouldn't give it as a homework task either.
Can I just keep coming back to my mantra? What was it? Fun, interesting and relevant. It could be one of those things, or all three of those things.
Do you abbreviate that to FIR?
I do now. Fun, interesting and relevant.
FIR.
Yes.
Make your homework furry.
Yes. See, these are ideas coming up as we speak. I have just thought of that, but maybe it's right. Gav, can I get your take on this?
On your...
No, on your own ideas.
My idea for giving homework would be to provide the student with an exercise that is reflective of what we just covered in the class. It could be a grammar exercise online using my favourite website, which I think I've mentioned before, where the student will do an online quiz and then be given an assessment of their answers.
You mean like a multiple choice, click the button, see if you're right, kind of take you through each page website?
Yeah, then the student will know if they understood the grammar that they learnt in the lesson.
Good.
Or it could be a video which analyses a case study that we did in class and maybe we didn't have enough time to watch the video at the end of the lesson. I also agree that it should be something fairly fun. In that case, it could be a podcast, it could be a song with the lyrics on YouTube, or as you've already mentioned, a long article.
I really can count on the fingers of one hand how many times I've actually sent students a long article to read for homework.
Well, long is subjective, Em. I sent my students a list of some useful vocabulary related to their company, and the student the following lesson said, "That list was too short, Teacher Gav."
Nice.
Well, not nice, but I was quite happy that the student at least looked at it and thought, I think I can learn more than this.
Yeah.
And maybe that gave them the encouragement to find some more words related to that topic.
Wanted a challenge, which is good. I think variety's good. Don't always just send the same thing, a page out of a grammar book or a video every single lesson. I think it's nice for students to have a mixture and then they can decide maybe they want to do it, maybe they don't, but something might be more tempting to them.
In which case, you should title each homework task in the homework email very clearly to be quite exciting to the student and make them want to click on it or download it or open it or whatever you've sent.
You clickbait your homework, is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
How do you do that? Give me an example.
Well, last week we had 4 different topics come up in our lesson.
Which topics?
Football, cycling, food, space travel.
Wow, nice lesson. And how did you incorporate that into homework?
I found a video for the first topic, I found a podcast for the second one, there was an article for the third, and the fourth one,
Space travel.
I recommended a movie that I'd seen recently which was all about space travel and was very, very good.
Well, that is quite a service you are providing, Gav. I am impressed.
Do you not do the same thing for your students, Em?
Maybe on a slightly smaller scale, but yeah, something like that per week is good. I don't think there's any excuse really for I didn't do my homework if you provide that kind of buffet of options.
I absolutely agree. That is my objective, Em.
Make homework irresistible. I like that.
Em, what's your first topic?
Gav, lately I've been thinking about holidays.
Have you?
Taking one, having one, going on one.
And then returning from one and being happy to get back to your teaching job.
Well, I'd like to break this down a bit. So how often do you have holidays, Gav?
Is this national holidays or my own holiday?
Let's say your own actual take a break, holiday, book a hotel, go somewhere, maybe another country or somewhere else, not home.
I think most people get around 30 days per year if they're lucky.
That was not my question. I asked you how often you go on holiday.
And of that 30 days, I might be lucky enough to take a 2-week holiday.
Okay. So I guess that you might be self-employed.
That's correct.
Right.
And I'm a very tough boss. I do not give myself much free time.
You don't sign your own holiday forms. You just say, no, keep going.
I reject the email.
Okay, weird.
Try again next month.
What I'm getting from this, Gav, is as a freelancer or a self-employed teacher, you might not get as many holiday days as a contracted teacher, which I think a lot of people could say in a lot of different professions.
Yes.
It's one of the drawbacks. But as a self-employed teacher, usually you do get paid a little bit extra per hour, which mitigates, perhaps, the fact you don't get so many hours holiday.
That may not encourage you to take more holiday, unfortunately, because you see the money and chase the money and not take breaks from the money because you love the money.
Time is money, and not working is no money. So, yeah, that is possibly a problem, that if you are on holiday, you might be feeling you're missing out, or there's work there that you're not taking. Again, it's another disadvantage.
Could be.
But I would always take being self-employed over being a contracted teacher because of my autonomy, independence, ability to say no to a 6 o'clock lesson that is 3 hours from where I live.
Is that 6 a.m. or 6 p.m.?
6 a.m. But 6 p.m.'s also pretty bad. Given the choice, I definitely prefer self-employment. But yes, holidays, we do like them. We do take them occasionally.
Do you take holidays?
I do. I think it's very important to take a holiday.
Do you fly to a sunny location and rest on the beach, sunbathing, eating ice cream and reading a nice novel?
Or a nice long article? Well, no, not really. I quite like being active, doing a lot of walking, seeing some nature, getting out there away from technology. That's my idea of a nice holiday.
Is that a digital detox for you?
It is, yes. And I think it's quite therapeutic to do that. To just stop looking at the clock as well. Not think about where I've got to be and what I've got to be doing and how long until my next lesson.
Is being a TEFL teacher an opportunity to switch off when you're not teaching and you're on your holiday?
Sorry?
Do you not need to think about your students, that they're waiting for you to return and you might need to prepare a killer lesson for the next time you see them?
Honestly, no. Gav, it's funny you say that because I actually have had a holiday recently, and one of my classes today said, "Did you miss us?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I was really missing you. I was thinking about you all the time when I was walking through that forest." And they laughed. I think they understood the joke.
And were they thinking about you the whole time, waiting for you to return?
I didn't ask them, Gav, because I think that's a weird question.
They asked you a weird question and you decided not to ask them the same one in return.
Yeah, that's the best way to deal with weird questions. Gav, you made it sound weird, but it's actually really cute that they said that. Anyway, I would like to know. Of course, it's lovely to go away. It's lovely to have a break. It's great to have a holiday. But then, yes, you come back to reality. You see all your students again. Gav, how does it feel to you when you start working again after a holiday?
Em, is this another question?
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about holidays.
I'm interested in how it feels, because I feel quite different.
You feel quite different when you get back to work?
Yeah.
Like you're a new teacher or they're a new class? Or...
Yeah, all that. I feel like I see everything through fresh eyes and hear everything through fresh ears, and I sort of have a different perspective on it.
And how long until that passes?
Well, I was going to ask you all these questions, but you've kind of done that thing where you throw it back at me. Can you answer the question?
Of course. I also have a feeling of unfamiliarity when I return to the class, and I think, this is peculiar. I'm sitting in front of a group of people who I don't know, who expect me to teach them things and ask them things and engage them in conversation and test their knowledge.
Yeah. Quite discombobulating, isn't it?
It is, but to be honest, after a few minutes...
Is that all it takes?
I settle back into the old routine.
I like hearing my students speak and hearing them with fresh ears, because it's a bit like a reset. I think I can really hear maybe the mistakes, the problems that I need to fix. And I think after a long time of not having a holiday, you can get a bit
used to them.
You can get a bit familiar with their mistakes. It's almost like you don't hear them anymore.
That's true. You get so used to being with your students that maybe after a while, the sentence, "I bought some new clothes at the weekend," and you think to yourself, maybe that sounded okay before my holiday, but I've had a little break and now I'm returning. That does not sound okay, and I'm going to remind you to say clothes, not clothes.
We can step out of our teaching shoes for maybe a couple of weeks and become like a normal human again, and then just hear what it sounds like in a conversation rather just through the medium or the ears of a teacher. I think it's good just to reset that a little bit.
Holidays are very good for resetting things, Em. Energy, motivation.
Alarm clocks. Yeah.
Thanks, Em.
Gav, what else have you been thinking about?
Em, picture this. We have a zombie apocalypse. The world is nigh. What is it?
The end is nigh.
The end is nigh. And you have your teaching materials and you've got one class. How long will your rations of teaching materials last until your tins of teaching will expire?
What? Have they already started eating your brain? What are you talking about? You've got a ration, like an emergency kit of lessons.
Well, imagine your entire teaching store
Yeah.
of worksheets, videos, recordings, all of that stuff is on your computer, is sitting there in front of you.
Right.
And you've got one class. How long can you teach that class
Oh.
before you run out of materials? It's just a kind of
Yeah, thought experiment.
thought experiment.
No
yes.
breaks, no food, no toilet breaks. Just how many hours would my teaching materials last if the end of the world is coming and my students decided they wanted to just have an endless lesson?
What else could they possibly want other than spending the rest of their lives learning English with Teacher M?
Actually, they would have pretty good long lives, Gav, because I think I could probably keep going for a couple of years, to be honest.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to really break down the numbers, but I've got a lot. Haven't you?
I probably have. If I look at how many books I have.
Yeah, even that on its own, that could go on actually for more than a lifetime. So what you're actually saying is the zombie apocalypse would increase their lifespan. If that's the deal, they can just live for as long as my teaching material. See, I think that would be a better one. Like, how long could you prolong life if you had a magic wand that said your lesson will be as long as your life? How long can your life be?
With the right teacher, it could go on forever.
I'd say, yeah, half a millennia at a stretch.
That's good value for money.
Yeah. I mean, it might be a bit dry after a little while. Might be just one more gap fill.
Long articles.
Yes, that's where the long articles will come into play. Excellent.
Dry grammar exercises.
Yeah. They're not going to be good lessons.
But they won't run out.
They won't run out. Infinite.
That's very reassuring, Em.
It was a weird question. What made you think that?
I don't know. I watched a zombie film the other day and I just wondered how long would Em's materials last given that situation?
Nice. I mean, these are great questions in classrooms. Hypothetical, second conditional, if. Get the students to come up with their own questions like that, you know? They'll always surprise you what they think of.
It's inspiring.
Mm.
Em, what have you been thinking about?
Can we do a bit of admin? I'd like to talk a little bit about invitations to lessons.
Em, you know this is not my favourite topic.
No, but you won't get better if you don't talk about it, Gav.
And practice.
You need to practice. So imagine you've got a new class starting.
Have I? When?
Hypothetically, yeah. Imagine
Right.
you've got a new class starting. What's the process to get them all in the same place at the right time?
I need their email addresses
Yeah.
and then I send them an invitation.
Okay.
This is for an online lesson. Obviously, if I write them a letter and send it to their homes and tell them where and when to be in the classroom, that might also work, but postal service is a little bit slower than email.
And it does sound a bit more sinister for some reason, the way you're saying it.
Why is that?
You must be at this time and this place and this location. You've got all their email addresses. You've sent your invitations. Have you got the time zone right?
That depends where they are, Em.
Does it? I thought it depended where you are.
Well, it depends where everybody is, to be honest.
Well, what do you do? How do you check this?
I find out where they are.
Okay.
I need to know where I am.
So if you... Where are you?
I'm not sure now.
Well, think about it. Where are you?
Currently, I'm at home.
Which is where?
I'm on Greenwich Mean Time +1.
That's British summertime?
I think so.
Okay, you're Greenwich Mean Time +1, but the other students are on Greenwich Mean Time +2. This is getting technical, right? So how do you then calibrate the fact that your students may be in European mainland? How do you balance that, Gav?
I do some basic arithmetic.
Do you work out what the time needs to be where you are? Or where they are? Do you set the meeting for their time or your time?
I think it's set in my time, but I just need to add an hour to it if they're on mainland. Well, it depends where they are exactly.
You don't have to add an hour. Am I talking to the right person? You don't add anything. You just make the time right for you. So if the lesson's supposed to start at 10 a.m. European time, you schedule it for
9.
9
Yes.
UK time.
I have to know what time it is where they are, where they're going to have the lesson, and then I subtract 1 hour from that to get my time.
That's true. That could end up being quite messy if you don't remember that and you schedule it for their time.
And it gets more complicated if you have students in many different time zones and you need to get them all into one classroom at the same time.
You have to really think about it, and it's complicated, and I often make mistakes with it.
Well, the advantage is that I am actually a maths No,
you're not, are you?
I'm an English teacher.
That's the problem.
That is the problem.
So, we have one issue already. Time zones. And I love the way that the programme says some of these participants are in different time zones. Like it's going to help you, but it doesn't help you. It just reminds you that they are.
That's a bit vague. Does it not tell you which time zones?
No. And it doesn't say, do you want me to work it out for you? Because you think with all this AI it would, but no, it doesn't. So that's your first problem. Go with me on this. You've set your time zone right. You've invited everyone that you've got on your list of students.
Or I've sent a letter.
Or sent your letter. And then the week that you're supposed to start, the day you're supposed to start the lesson, the company sends you an email saying, oh, and by the way, we've got this extra person who wants to join the group. Casually, like it's nothing.
I'd have to send a telegram.
Well, what do you do then?
I send them an invitation.
That one person, separately.
I add them to the invitation on the app.
So is it only the extra person who gets notified about the new invitation?
Well, that's the clever thing about the app, that it asks you, would you like to send this to all the attendees or simply to the added or removed attendees?
I've seen that message. And does that work, Gav?
Yes.
Oh, does it? Because in my experience, you all get another email that tells you that there's a meeting taking place at exactly the same time. And I think a lot of people think, why am I getting this again? I've already said yes to this meeting. Does that mean it's a different meeting and a different day? It's very confusing.
Life is confusing, Em, but it sounds like you've got it sussed. Do they all arrive at the right time, Em?
9 times out of 10. The other problem is when you want to cancel one lesson that's not happening because maybe you're on holiday. How do you do that?
I go to the app, I open the calendar, I right-click the event, and the app says, do you want to cancel this? And I say, yes, please, and it says, okay.
You've missed a vital part of that. Do you want to delete this event or this series of events?
Yeah, that's why I only focused on this event, because you don't want to delete the entire course accidentally.
But have you noticed how close together those two little phrases are?
I have noticed and may have made the mistake of deleting everything once or twice.
It seems very malicious almost, doesn't it? That something so important, that is so vital to get right, would be within a millimetre on a mouse click to get very, very wrong.
And I don't think it even says to you, are you sure you want to delete the entire course?
No, it's just gone. And then, what do you have to do if you do delete the entire series?
You have to start again from scratch.
You have to work out the time zone. Make sure everybody's included. You're probably going to forget somebody. Then you have to send the invitation one more time to everybody.
Including yourself.
Oh, yeah, don't forget to include yourself, because otherwise it won't be on your calendar. Yeah.
Why would an app not include you anyway?
I don't know. That is a very, very pertinent question.
Maybe it does. It's just that I use a calendar with an other email address.
That would also be true. You're right, Gav. If you're using an email that has a calendar from a different account, you have to remember to include yourself.
Oh, it's so complicated, Em. And you no longer have to send letters to your students.
I never did, but yeah, that's good.
I've been asking myself this question for a while now. What do you do when your students just don't get it?
Don't get it.
They just don't understand.
They just don't understand.
They can't keep up.
Is this a good demonstration of what it's like when they don't get it? Am I just not getting it, Gav?
Well, I'm showing how I might rephrase the question if my student just doesn't get it.
Well, you've answered your own question there. I think that is the first stage, isn't it? You rephrase it, you say it in a different way, and hope they get it. And then, of course, you have to check they get it. So you have to ask questions related to that topic to make sure they understood what you were talking about.
And if they still don't get it?
Start back at the beginning and break it down again, make it more simple, give lots of examples, maybe draw some pictures, show some photos, get different books and try as many different techniques as you can. Eventually they will get it, I think.
All in one lesson, all in one session.
You might need to come back to it a few times because some things take time to process. They may need to sleep on it. They may need to ruminate and think again about the topics that you've said.
I hope they do.
I hope they do. But the only way you're really going to know is if they produce it.
And then they've got it.
And that's how you know.
The reason I mention this, Em, is because this week I have been teaching my students the verb wish. I've discovered that it's a bit tricky, and I may not have prepared my students quite enough for the test that I gave them.
Oh.
I discovered.
Would you like to talk a bit about that?
I'm over it now, but it was quite stressful at the time, and I think my students were a little bit puzzled.
Well, make yourself comfortable on the couch. Put the pillow under your head. Do you want to just go through it with us?
Yes.
How did it start? What was your childhood like? No, I mean, what was the beginning of this journey?
I asked my students, do you know how to use the verb wish?
And they said yes.
And they gave me some examples, and it all seemed okay. We got a bit in the present. Like, for example, I wish I had a bigger house.
Yeah.
I thought, that sounds quite good.
That is good.
And I think one student said, I wish I had invested in Bitcoin back in the early 2000s.
That's amazing.
I thought so too. Therefore, I thought they were ready for the next step.
Which is what?
English file. An English file worksheet.
Uh-huh.
Now, I hadn't noticed that there was also I wish you would hidden in there. In fact, it wasn't really hidden. I just didn't notice it.
So you weren't ready for the wood.
And neither were my students.
This is the natural progression of I wish I had more money, for example. That's present wish. And I wish I had invested in Bitcoin, which is a past regret wish. So it's wish plus past verb for present and wish plus past perfect for past. And you kind of stopped there and forgot about the I wish he or she or it would infinitive.
Yes.
which is about an external thing that you want to change.
It's about habits that really annoy you, repeated things that you would like to desist.
Or external situations, like I wish it would stop raining.
Yeah. Anyway, we went ahead, did the quiz. Students completely flopped on pretty much all of it, to be honest with you, because by the time they got to wish you would, they were very, very confused, and then they were really just making a mess of the whole thing all the way through.
Were they starting to say, I wish I would have more money? They kind of unlearned what they already knew.
There was a key sentence, actually, connected to money, and the student thought it should be, I wish my parents would have more money, which I said sounds wrong because it's almost like your parents are deliberately choosing not to have more money to make you happy.
Yeah, that's quite hard though, because it is an external thing or person. So I wish my parents had more money, present wish, but I wish they would work more is okay, because then you are wishing for something to change that you think they could change.
And at that point, they didn't get it. Just very briefly, remind me what the steps are for helping them get it.
Well, I said rephrase it in a different way, but you can't, because that's just grammar and it would be wrong. You could, I suppose, say you want them to have more money, they don't have more money. If they worked more, they would have more money. That's the idea of it.
Or you've sent them to a conditional sentence.
Yeah, but I would say if they are going on to wish, they should have a good understanding of conditional.
Yes. That's a good idea. Supporting one grammar with another grammar, if possible.
Only if they know it and they understand it. Otherwise, pictures, external things.
I liked your stories tip. You can just really get them deep into understanding a story, a narrative, the real situation, describe a person, say what's bothering them, and then maybe the students can come up with the answer, and then you can shape the language around it.
Good. You could have speech bubbles, empty speech bubbles on people's heads saying, well, what's this person thinking? And how does this person feel? So that you're CCQing, concept checking, that the right person is thinking. Because if you had your parents and then yourself, you would say, well, which person wants the money? And it would be you, not them, to make it clear that it's not them that want the money, it's you that want them to have the money.
That sounds a bit clearer. I came back to the topic the following week with a very nice set of pictures that I think explained really well. And as you said, I got the students to complete the speech bubbles with the set language.
Oh, sounds like you did exactly what I'm suggesting.
So thank you for that.
Well, you don't need to thank me because I didn't say it before, but thank yourself.
Thanks, Gav.
Good. Unless I have a time machine and I went back to tell you and I've just forgotten. And then you can say thanks to me. Yeah. Okay. Gav, I'm just going to finish with my little metaphor because I know we like our metaphors, don't we?
We do.
We've had a few over the years.
Yes, we have.
We've had trains, we've had buses, we've had mountains, boats, ships, tunnels at some point.
I think there was a wave at one point.
Waves. Okay, but I'm going to...
Tsunamis of water.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm going to go with cake today.
Well, why wouldn't you go with cake?
I know, cake's great, isn't it?
How did cake not come up earlier in the show, Em?
I know, it is literally begging to be used as a metaphor because it is such a good one. Think of a lesson as a cake recipe.
Oh.
Yeah. You got your main ingredients and then you've got your little extras, right?
Hundreds and thousands.
Yeah, nobody knows what they are, Gav. You need to say it the American way.
Sprinkles?
Yeah. So if you're making your lesson cake, what is your main ingredient?
Water.
It's not a cake, Gav. It's actually a lesson. So think about... Well, I don't even think a cake's got mainly water. That's weird. What would be your main ingredient? Your flour, let's say.
I think the flour, which is the main ingredient of the whole lesson cake, would be me.
You are so egotistical.
Well,
I'd say
I have to
interesting content, which may be you. Yeah, that may be you. But
I have to generate some interest in that class before I can ignite and spark the kindling of interest below my students.
Well, okay, if that's what generates it. But interesting content, I would say, is your main ingredient, is your flour. And then you're going to need a big dollop of...
Is this my delivery method?
Maybe. I was thinking patience.
Oh, a dollop of patience.
Well, as a teacher, but as a content, maybe we should be talking about the lesson content. So interesting content is your main thing. Big dollop of grammar point or vocabulary or language, useful language. Or maybe you think the other way round. Flowers should be interesting content. No.
This is escaping me.
No, go with me. The metaphor is not bad.
Right, I've got my flour, which is my base, the content of the lesson. This is what's going to hold everything together, and the dollop of enthusiasm,
Nice.
engagement, possibly a funny hat,
Okay,
whatever gets their attention.
good. Pinch of...
I think there's a pinch of challenge in there, Em.
something just beyond their understanding or their knowledge.
Or something they need to overcome.
Okay, like that. So a pinch of challenge and then a dash of...
White wine vinegar?
which would be in a lesson, like maybe anecdotes, jokes, humour.
There might be a bit of audio, a long article.
That wouldn't be a dash, but I like that. Okay. And then finally, after you've baked it, it comes
What
out...
about the icing?
Well, I'm getting to that. It comes out the oven, you put your icing on, slather it with conversation and
Or a good writing task?
practice. Slather it with practice and then sprinkle it finally with...
Homework.
Yes. There we go.
We're not putting any candles on it.
No, it's not a birthday cake, it's just a cake. So there we go. We have the perfect cake recipe.
We do. It's so amazing how you made that metaphor
Was
so
laboured.
laboured, yes. But
Painful.
yeah,
You cut it up into slices. Each student gets their slice, equal slice. Everybody's got their share
that's right.
of fab lesson cake.
I do use cake quite often as a metaphor while I'm teaching, but not in the same way.
How do you use cake?
In the same way that I use pizza.
Which is what?
I say to my students, advice, it's a bit like a cake.
In what way is advice like cake?
Because you have a piece of advice and also a piece of cake, if you're lucky and it's possibly your birthday.
Very good. Same with news, same with research. Uncountable, yes.
That's it. So cake is a versatile metaphor for many teaching opportunities, Em.
And then you can just shout cake at them afterwards so they don't forget it's uncountable and they have to say a piece of.
I wouldn't suggest any teachers or learners throw any cake at each other, Em.
I'm not throwing it at them, I'm just reminding them that that was the mnemonic to remember piece of.
Yes. Well, I've had a piece of fun today, and I would like to say thanks, Em, for another enjoyable session of Gav and Em's How to English TEFL pod. I believe I will meet you once again in the future to continue this discourse.
How do I follow that? Yes. Cake!
Duck!